notice that the middle denominator factors into the other denominators, so that the difference of two squares, x plus 2 times x minus 2, will be the least common denominator that we're going to multiply through by in order to cancel fractions. So, first fraction, the x plus 2's cancel. We have 1 times the x minus 2 equals, in the center of the problem, this is an x plus 2, x minus 2 in the denominator, so it all cancels out, just leaving the 4 upstairs, minus, then the x minus 2's cancel, so we've got 1 times x plus 2. And I wrote the 1 there to help remind you that, again, we're going to have to distribute that negative. We've got x minus 2 equals 4 minus x minus 2. Combining like terms, on the right, we've got 2 minus x. And this looks a little bit tricky, it looks a little bit weird. I'm going to add x to both sides, and I'm going to add 2 to both sides. That will give us 2x on the left equals 4 on the right, and therefore x would equal 2. But when you look back at the original problem, we notice that 2 will not substitute in without producing a 0 in the denominator, so we have to cross that off and write no solution to this problem. For this next problem, I've already introduced some numbers in that you don't have on your blank sheets there. I'm going to begin by solving for y. I'm going to say, look at how the 5 and the 10 line up and the 13 and the y line up. I'm going to write 5 over 10 equals 13 over y. Also, I'm going to write another proportion here where I line up these. I'm going to say 5 matches with x in the same way that 13 matches with 28.6. So I've got two different proportions because there's two different variables we want to solve for. In this first case, we're going to multiply through on each side by 10y. On the left, the 10's are going to cancel, leaving 5 with the y. And on the right, the y's will cancel, leaving 10 times 13, which is 130. Dividing by 5, we'll get 26. And you might notice that, oh hey, 5 doubles to 10, 13 doubles to 26. We could have done that one in our head. Now, again, on this next one, we're going to want to multiply through by the least common denominator, which is 28.6 times x. On the left side, we're going to have x's canceling, so 5 times 28.6 equals 13 times, and the 28.6's will cancel, leaving just the x. When we multiply these values on the left, we're going to get 143 equals 13x, and dividing each side by 13 gives us x equals 11. Okay, next page with some word problems to look at. Here we go. Hose A can fill a pool in 10 hours, hose B can fill it in 12 hours. This is a work problem. Fraction plus fraction equals 1. We put the alone times of 10 and 12 in the denominators, and we're solving for x, which is the together time, which is missing up there in the numerator. Multiplying through by 60, which is the least common multiple of those denominators, we find that 60 cancels with a 10, leaving 5 times x. Sorry, 6 times x. I'm thinking of the next one, because 5 times 12 is 60, so we're going to have plus 5x here equals 60. 11x equals 60, so x equals 60 elevenths hours. I know that's a strange answer, but that's typically what happens for these types of problems. Okay, current in the lazy river is 2 miles an hour. We've got the upstream in the same time, in the time. We want to go time equals time. D over R equals D over R. I'm going to label the first side on the left the upstream, and on the right we're going to have the downstream. If one motor's 12 miles, that is a distance upstream. In the same time, you can go 20 miles. There's our distance downstream. What's the speed of the boat in still water? Upstream, you're traveling r minus the 2, which the current is pushing against you. And downstream, you get the 2-mile-an-hour boost, so it's r plus 2 for the rate. We're going to clear the denominators by multiplying through by r minus 2 times r plus 2. On the left, the r minus 2's cancel, leaving you 12 times the r plus 2. And on the right, the r plus 2's cancel, leaving you 20 times the r minus 2. Notice that what we're left with is the same thing we would have had if we had cross-multiplied. If you want to pause the video and take a look at that, you can. Now I'm going to distribute on the left, 12r plus 24. Distribute on the right to get 20r minus 40. Let's get all the variables to one side, so I'm going to subtract the 12r off of each side. I'm going to add 40 to both sides. I know I'm kind of using a kind of a slipshod notation here. We're going to have 64 equals 8r, and therefore r will equals 8 miles an hour for the speed of the boat in still water.